Hey everyone, James from TeaDB here, bringing you another Inbetweenisode. I am doing a ripe tea, and I have a brew right here in my cup, but I'm going to go ahead and make another brew while we do this, and I'll talk a little bit about what we are brewing. So today I am brewing the 2011 Menghai Tea Factory Dayi Jade Dew. It is a ripe Pu'erh. It is on the tippy end, not totally unlike the Golden Needle White Lotus that I brought on just recently. So similar sort of in the sense, in the broad sense where they're both Menghai Tea Factory made by the same place, and they are mainly composed of tippy things. Excuse me, I have the poo burps right now. And they're also just a year apart, 2011, 2010. At least in the Western scene, the Jade Dew is not quite so popular, or at least I don't hear quite as much about it as I do the Golden Needle. My friend Carl, so shoutouts to Carl, was a big fan of 2007, and I had that tea with him a couple times. Really rich, very satisfying tea from the mid-2000s, and so he kind of turned me on to this blend. I think 2011 is the next time they made it. So they don't make this quite as often as the Golden Needle, at least to my knowledge. And this version I've just picked up from Yunnan Sourcing in 2019. So it has less of the history of being stored by me in the back of my cabinet, and that and has just been stored in Kunming until it went to Scott's Oregon-based site. So yeah, excited to drink this. I am just about through a cake of this as well, so I've been really sort of tearing through a lot of my ripe stash recently. Have a few things coming soon, so hoping to drink through some of my back stash before I get to those things. So I'm on steep like 6 or 7 here, so I've been brewing this pretty much throughout the day. The aroma, there's not much aroma anymore, so probably getting towards the tail end of the brews here. You could argue that maybe that's not the fairest way to evaluate teas, but it's a very convenient way for me to evaluate the tea, and it's also a very natural way. I often drink these brews on my own just at this exact time of day, so evaluating them is at least effective for my own understanding. Okay, so here is the first steep. I think it's cooled down quite a bit. It's still warmish, but not too bad. So similar to the Golden Needle, this is definitely like predominantly creamy. Not a lot of fruit notes, more in that creamy, woody category, I'd say. I'd say it's actually a little richer than the Golden Needle White Lotus, and I wonder if a bit of that is impacted by my storage. For ripe tea in particular, I really don't do anything special. I really just store it with the other ripe teas kind of compacted into a small space. No humidification or anything like that. So I wonder a little bit if maybe the Golden Needle is a tea that needs just a little bit more humidification. Of course, Kunming storage itself is a fairly light touch when put in contrast versus other storage. So the contrast would be dry versus a little drier, I would expect. Anyways, this is the subsequent steep. Really great clarity on this. Helped a little bit by my recently deep cleaned chahai. I'm sure by the next time you see it, it won't be quite so pristine, but right now it's looking mighty good. Cheers, guys. Yeah, I'd say that I am actually enjoying this brew a bit more than the Golden Needle. I think which one I prefer could depend a bit day to day. I'm going to give them the same rating, 6.2, which is solid. I think it's solidly above average. Are they my favorite Menghai Tea Factory teas? Probably not, as far as ripe. I think I tend to like some of the bigger leafed recipes a bit more. I'm bringing on one that I've been a really big fan of, and that's another one I'd stored for quite a while. And that one is a larger leafed blend from the mid-2000s. So excited to sort of bring that on. But for me, I do think that these teas, Golden Needle and Golden Needle White Lotus and Jade Dew, are both sort of solidly above average. They're not blends that are made every year, like a 7572 or a 7452. So they supposedly are using a little bit more premium materials. Of course, they're using buds and very tippy blends and stuff like that. So those tend to also be a little bit more pricey to acquire. But this tea is still available, I think, for mid 30s, 35, 37 from Scott's US site. So not an expensive tea by any means still. Still very acquirable for a reasonable price. I'd say it fits pretty squarely into the Menghai just Menghai category. So a little above average. This is not a tea that's totally wowing me or redefining what I think of ripe. Fits pretty firmly into there. The body's a little bit thicker, which makes me think that maybe there is a little bit of a storage difference between the teas that I brought on recently. It's not quite so thinly focused. The mouthfeel and the texture are both sort of like this velvety thing. Quite enjoyable. So yeah, I think that just about concludes the Jade Dew. I'll be drinking this tea and finishing off my cake very soon. And I'll be bringing on some more ripe, some stuff that I've been storing in the back of my cabinet again. So looking forward to trying that next time. So look forward to that episode, and I will see you all next time. Cheers.